Welcome to another episode of the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm being joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How are we doing tonight? It is a beautiful Friday evening. It's a holiday season, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We're getting into it.
Yeah, I'm excited because there's tons of football games on this weekend, right? 3 tomorrow.
Yeah?
And 3 on Sunday.
Well,
and
more than 3 on Sunday.
Well, 3 that we'll watch probably.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of really good games going on this week. We're filling the schedule up each week now. All 15, we'll have 15 games, or 16 games every single week now, leading up to the playoffs. But let's start with last night's game because it was a very, very interesting game. We're talking about Brock Purdy. Sorry, let me go through here right now. Talking about Brock Purdy and last night's game against the Seattle Seahawks. The 49ers did get the win 21-13. It was a pretty good game for Brock Purdy. It was what I would call an efficient game for the last pick in the draft last year. 17-26, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. This was a good game all around, though. The Seahawks could have actually won the game late in the game. They scored a late game touchdown. And then the 49ers, with backup running back Jordan Mason, had like a 50-yard run to seal the game. So I'm going to ask you, have the 49ers actually found their next franchise quarterback in Brock Purdy?
No, I think it's too soon to say. It's a small sample. He's played, 2 games?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and he basically had the same game this game as he had in the last one. About the same amount of passing yards, same completions and attempts, and 2 touchdown passes. He's a game manager. They're not letting him do too many big plays down the field, etc. He's managing the game. He's got a lot of great tools around him.
Right.
He's got some great players around him. Although Deebo Samuels is not in there now.
Yeah.
He's hurt. But still, they have a lot of weapons, and their defense is it's suffocating. Poor Seahawks, they couldn't do much of anything until right near the end. You know, they really they were. Geno Smith was under pressure all the time. So, I think it's too soon to say he's the franchise quarterback. I mean, he looks good out there.
Yeah,
and he's a big guy. He looks good out there, but whether he's as good as Jimmy Garoppolo or
Trey Lance.
It's
offense that Kyle Shanahan runs is not based on how far you can throw the football or how much arm talent you have. If you are efficient enough to complete passes to the receivers that are open, you will be successful. And that's why Jimmy G has been so successful over his tenure with the 49ers. It looks like that's probably going to come to an end pretty soon with obviously the Trey Lance signing. And then now getting Brock Purdy, he seems to be maybe even a little bit better than Jimmy G. So that's the great thing about this situation that Brock Purdy's in. Could I think that they go to the Super Bowl and win it? Probably not, because at some point your offense has to make plays. But Brock Purdy has a little bit of an edge over Jimmy G right now, I think, at least athletically. Yeah, he was extending plays. He ran for a first down at the very end of the game to try to seal it. So, franchise quarterback, I would need to see it because right now he looks really good. The fans are chanting his name. Everyone's enjoying his play style. If Trey Lance can complete 62 to 64% of his throws compared to like the high 50s, mid to high 50s he was at the very beginning of the season. I mean, if he could do that, then Trey Lance will probably keep the starting job. But we're talking about Brock Purdy now. He's performing well. His defense is a huge part in that.
Yeah,
but
I'd say Trey Lance is probably more athletic than Purdy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right? He's a more athletic,
but he's less
I think
accurate.
He's probably bigger too. I think he's in terms of his size and weight, he's probably a little bigger than Brock Purdy.
Trey Lance is 6'4", 224. I think Brock Purdy is like 6'1". 6'1", 220. Yeah. So 3 inches shorter, but.
That's it's a difference.
No, absolutely it does. I just think, if Trey Lance can't complete, like if Trey Lance doesn't have the accuracy that Kyle Shanahan's offense needs, there's a good chance. I don't know that because this year in his career, Trey Lance completed 54% of his throws, 55% of his throws. This season, he had 2 games. 48.4% of his throws.
Yeah.
So he's not a very accurate quarterback, but he
I
hasn't
would
played
say
that much.
Brock Purdy probably will wind up being their playoff quarterback.
Absolutely.
And when the pressure is dialed up, we'll see how he performs, right?
And that's why I think you'll see cracks.
And if he does well, then I'd say he has a good chance to start next year. I'm not sure I'd call him a franchise quarterback, but he probably has a good chance. If they can go deep into the playoffs, probably has a decent chance and to be their starter next year. And with he'll have to beat out Trey Lance.
Right, and the playoffs is where I see Brock Purdy's true nature come into form, because then you'll be under pressure consistently. If your defense slips even
Much
the
better
slightest
teams.
bit,
You'll be playing the best teams.
Yeah, you're playing the best teams in the NFC, which the NFC isn't even that strong this year. But when your defense slips, because right now, the past 2 games, your defense has been spot on, stopping Brady and that horrendous offense he's running. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And playing Geno Smith, who the Seahawks aren't up to par with the rest.
They're not playing the top teams yet.
Right.
When they start playing the top teams, we'll see. Who they got left on their schedule?
The 49ers go up, and then they play, coming up, they just played the Seahawks. They play the Commanders, Raiders, and Cardinals. They should win at least 2 of those.
Should win all
games.
of those.
Should win all. Probably win 2. I think the Raiders might give them a little bit of a
maybe Washington will give them a hard time too. Washington's
we'll
playing
see.
better.
We'll see, but it comes down to really, because the playoffs, the 49ers just clinched their division. That's the first thing. They won the NFC West, which at the very beginning we're like, oh, the Seahawks will probably win that. But then obviously reality struck. Trey Lance, after not playing, after like the first couple snaps in week 2, Jimmy G comes in, leads them past the Seahawks, beats the Seahawks in week, what was it? They beat the Seahawks in week 2, 27-7. And they just beat them this week, 21-13. They keep going these winning streaks. They lost to a couple strange teams like the Falcons and the Broncos, but then they're right now on a 7-game winning streak.
No, they're looking good.
They're looking very good. But if this defense even slips up in the least, we're gonna need to see how relevant Mr. Irrelevant actually is.
They don't have anything to play for now, right? Because they've won their division. They're not going to get the 1 seed because the Eagles have only lost 1 game, right?
Yeah.
So their chances of getting the 1 seed is 0,
Basically,
pretty much.
yeah.
So what are they playing for? Nothing really right now. They could lose all 3 of these games. It wouldn't change their seeding, would it?
Well, they are currently they're the 3 seed. They could overtake Minnesota if Minnesota loses again for the 2 seed, and then they would play
The 6th seed.
they would play Washington. So,
well, you don't know. It might be the Giants.
Well, then the Seahawks would probably the Washington and the Giants would stay in the playoffs regardless of who wins this game, because the next highest would be the Seahawks at 7-7. One of these teams would be 7-6-1.
I see.
7-6-1.
Yeah.
So
they could play for the 2 seed. Could they drop to the 4 seed? They could drop. Who's how about the other division?
They're not dropping to the 4 seed. That's Tampa Bay.
Okay.
There's no way unless
they
lose
do
out.
is move up 1 seed and they play the 7th. They pay the 7th seed instead of the 6th seed.
Yeah. So they'd be playing the Giants or the Commanders, depending on.
So it's either one of them. So.
And I mean, hey, the Lions might make a little bit of a playoff push right now. They have a serious shot. I believe they're 1 game out of playoffs right now. So there is a good shot that the Lions could do, or 1.5 games out.
The Giants' remaining schedule?
The Giants are playing Washington this week. Then they go to the Vikings, Colts, and Eagles. They'll lose 3 of those games.
So it's probably going to be. It's probably the Lions will get in there.
The Lions could make it to the 7th seed. So then
the Lions are playing the Jets this week.
The Lions playing the Jets.
They probably have a good chance to win that game.
Yep. And then they go into the Panthers, Bears, and Packers. They could.
So they
win 3 of those.
2
games.
of those.
At least 2. They could probably win 3. They might win all 4. The Packers would only be and they already beat the Packers once. Only allowed the Packers to give up 9 points in that game. So there's a chance the Lions can make the playoffs. The Giants could drop out. We each said that the Giants probably have the highest chance of missing the playoffs compared to the 2 New York teams, but I don't know, because the Lions are a high-flying offense. They have a top-scoring offense this year, which is shocking when you think of Detroit Lions and a really good offense, but they do. Could they be the first roadblock for the 49ers in the playoffs. Let's say Lions do make it as a 7th seed and the Vikings lose, let's say, this week. Let's say, just hypothetical, the 49ers make it to the 2 seed. They overpass the Vikings, and then they play the 7th seed, which would be the Lions.
Yeah.
Could the Lions, with that offense, make the game extremely close, or can they beat out the 49ers with how great that offense actually is? Because
I don't think the Lions are beating the 49ers.
Even with that offense.
No, I think the 49ers defense is better than the Lions offense.
Would you? Okay, I'm not 100% with you, but could you see that with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift, Jared Goff is playing really well this year?
Where's his ranking? Quarterback ranking?
I would need to bring that up, but the passing offense for the Lions is 7th in the league.
Okay,
so that puts them top 10.
But the 49ers have the number 1 defense, right?
Yeah, they do. Or they have the number 1 rushing defense, I believe. Yes, number 1 rushing, 12th passing. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the 49ers make it to the 2 seed, Lions make it to the 7 seed. The Lions give them a severely hard time. That's just me. I could be crazy, but I said at the beginning of the year, I think I said it in
I think
week
the
4.
problem with the Lions is their defense.
No, absolutely. They have the 30th ranked pass defense in the league. So that's
Even
their
Brock
problem.
Purdy could pick them apart.
But then here we go with Brock Purdy, though. Brock Purdy, now that Deebo Samuel is hurt, he's going to need to rely a lot more on Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle.
Oh, but I think Debo's going to be back for the playoffs.
I'm talking about ending the year, though, if they want to get that 2 seed. Because otherwise, they may play Taylor Heineke and his black magic, and maybe that could be a loss. Who knows?
Maybe they'd prefer to be the 3 seed instead of the 2 then.
Maybe, but they're not getting the 4 seed and they're not getting the 1 seed. So it's up to the 2nd and the 3rd.
I don't think the 6 are. I don't think there's much difference in the 6th and 7th.
Well, right now, no, because they're the exact same record. So
no, but
I
think the 6th and 7th, the quality of the teams is not much different.
And I feel like that in both conferences that's the case, because you're talking about the 6th and 7th seed being the New England Patriots and the I guess
Miami.
Unfair. I guess it would be Miami. So really, it's only the Patriots that are the oddball out of all those teams, because the Patriots
are going to be lucky to hang in there, I think.
I mean, their only competition is the Jets and the Chargers. The Chargers are the only one. The Chargers have the exact same record as them.
I think the Chargers have an easier schedule.
Yes, they go out and they play the Titans, Colts, Rams, and Broncos. The Broncos are going to cause them trouble. Rams with Baker Mayfield might do something. The Colts, the only reason the Colts would do damage is that run game, because the Chargers still have the 28th best rushing defense. So,
Okay.
That's the only way. And same thing with the Titans. That's why I'm nervous about when we make these picks. With my Chargers pick, I'm a little bit nervous because Derrick Henry might get going, although he hasn't really done that. But Brock Purdy, next franchise quarterback, I think if he plays well this season, and we see, Trey Lance, not because that's like I've been saying, Kyle Shanahan's offense is getting the ball to the open receiver when it matters. That's what Jimmy G was really good at. And Trey Lance's accuracy has been horrible. So it's
a small sample. He's not played that much.
I understand.
He hardly ever played football.
That's true. That is true.
I think they still have hopes that he's going to be the guy.
Well, they should. They spent so much to get him. So I would hope so. Next franchise quarterback, I say maybe. You say probably not. Unless you say maybe.
I say that it's a small sample size, and we'll see how he does. If he winds up being their playoff quarterback and gets them deep into the playoffs, maybe to the Super Bowl, then he's got a real good chance to be their starter next year. That's what I'd say.
If he could perform efficiently like he has been, because I really think if the defense slips,
I just think in the playoffs, Nate, I think in the playoffs, there's going to be some big plays you have to make.
Right.
It's not going to be the game manager. The game manager is not going to win. Get you to the Super Bowl. It's somebody that can make the big play when he have to.
Although,
and that's going to happen to them.
Although
they're going to have to make
2000s
some big
Ravens,
plays.
though, they had Trent Dilfer as a quarterback. Trent Dilfer just needed to not choke the game, and that the Ravens defense in 2000, Ray Lewis and all. And
that's a good point.
They were able to win a Super Bowl there, but they had a great running game
against the Giants.
Early 2000s Giants were not the
no, and that quarterback
not
then, Kerry Collins, I don't think he was not very good.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I would say Brock Purdy efficiency. I think that's the thing that Kyle Shanahan run the RPO, run the option route or option play, I should say. Throw it to the open receiver, get it to him on time. Trey Lance, he needs to do that, or else I could definitely see.
He'll get his chance.
Absolutely. He'll obviously get his chance.
They're going to give him a chance, I think. They haven't given up on him.
I wouldn't either. All right, let's move on to our next topic. We're talking about Tom Brady, Todd Bowles. We're going to listen to a press conference. We have a soundbite here talking about the last game against the 49ers and how they're still wavering their confidence moving forward and going into the playoffs.
No, it's easier to get over, actually. You get blown out. It's easier to get over as opposed to lose a close one. So, no, he's exactly the same. It takes 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense to win a ball game. When things go wrong, it's not because of Tom's age. It's because we didn't execute it. I think anytime you disrupt the quarterback, it's going to have an impact on certain things. We got to block it better, and we got to get it out of his hands better, and we got to make plays more. You do that, and if we run the ball more, that takes some of the pressure off of them. So it's a collective group of things as an offense that we got to get better at, and we understand that.
Yeah, I made a throw to Mike. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a terrible throw, so we got to make it.
A really good one, too, to him on that touchdown that got called back.
Yeah, it's just kind of, but been a lot of that this year.
You don't really hear many times Tom Brady give the but sort of leading to there's a reason for it, and it wasn't necessarily me, because that the play in question was Brady's 68-yard touchdown to Mike Evans that got called back from a Donovan Smith holding call. And that, I mean, I'm not saying that was the reason why they lost, because it wasn't. They still got blown out 35-7. It would have tied the game, and maybe it would have created momentum, but the way the Bucs defense has been their best thing, and that defense has been relatively inconsistent since Brady got there. And this year, Brady's offense has been horrible. He got pressured on 25% of his snaps in the game against the 49ers, the most he's been pressured this entire season.
Their offensive line is decimated.
Right. It's dealing with injuries, just players not
they don't
playing
have.
up to it.
Do they have any of the guys that are starters on the offensive line?
Yeah, no. Donovan Smith is a starter. Tristan Wirfs has been hurt. He was limited to today in practice.
Shaq Mason.
Shaq Mason's been playing. A lot of guys are out this week.
But there's two big players from
Well, Shaq Mason's new.
I know, but there's two guys from the Super Bowl team that are not playing, right?
They had
Wilf and the center.
Ryan Jensen, he's hurt. They lost Ali Marpet to, I believe, retirement, and Alex Kappa. So Ali Marpet's a guard. Alex Kappa's another guard. Kappa went to the Bengals in free agency. Marpet retired. Jensen got hurt. Donovan Smith was there on the Super Bowl team. Wirfs is hurt, but he may come back this week, but he's limited.
Well, they need to get their offensive line act together to protect Brady better so they can make a run here.
The running game is still dead last, even with a little bit of a spark from Rachaad White over Leonard Fournette, which actually it increased their yards decently.
But that has a lot to do with the offensive line too.
It does, absolutely. Yeah. But recently,
there's no hole to run through. There's no,
Right. Recently, though, they have been running the ball consistently better, but it's still terrible. It's still very, very bad. Yeah. But it's better than when Leonard Fournette was running the ball. So they had a little bit of a spark. They're not the worst. If the season ended today, they wouldn't be the worst running team in NFL history like they would have been. We're talking 3-4 weeks ago. If the season ended then, they would have been the worst rushing yards per game team in the history of the NFL. Now they're going to be the fourth worst in the history of the NFL. So they can't run the ball, which then makes Brady at 45 years old, offensive line, and he's more paranoid than ever about getting hit. He's just going to throw it in the dirt after 2.5 seconds in his mental clock. He's going to spike it or throw it into the dirt.
Well, the way to beat Brady is to put pressure on him.
Exactly.
And they're able to do that now because the offensive line is weak.
So at 45 years old, he's needing to throw 55 times a game. If he keeps going at this pace, he'll pass Matt Stafford's pass attempts in a season record with 757. That's how many he's on pace for. I think.
How many yards has he got passing now?
Not that much. It's 3,500. 3,585.
3,585, and he's going to break the record for attempts?
Yes. Currently, he has 579 attempts. 65.8% completion percentage.
There must be a lot of short passes.
Oh, they are, absolutely. He is bottom 5 in yards per attempt and yards per completion.
Huh.
So he's doing early career Brady of dinking and dunking the occasional deep ball. Except this time, I'm seeing a lot of the big 4-5 come into play now. A lot of his age is coming into play. He's underthrowing routes. There was a potential touchdown, a backdoor throw to Mike Evans that was just completely behind him, basically at his feet by the time it got there. We're seeing a lot of the effects of not having a tight end in Rob Gronkowski. He's trying to throw it to K. Dotton, trying to get his other tight ends available. It's just not working. The offensive line's in shambles. Julio Jones is going to be out this week.
That guy is always hurt.
Yeah, that was the problem with him when he was
He's
on the
had
Titans.
many years now that he's out a lot.
Yeah. They play.
What's he wrong with him now?
Same thing, knee injury.
Wow.
They do play the Bengals this week. The Bengals are favored on the road, minus 3.5 points. That does not surprise me in the least. The Bucs are out some pretty big starters. They're out Sean Murphy-Bunting, a starting cornerback. They're losing Jamel Dean this week, starting cornerback. Their two safeties, one's a did not practice. One's a full. I guess he'll play. The other safety's limited. Antoine Winfield Jr. He may play this week. Vita Vea, their main beefy guy, their nose tackle, he will not be in this game. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, the up-and-coming edge backer that was supposed to replace other Ndamukong Suh or JPP, he'll be out this week probably. Carl Nassib, another replacement of those two guys, is going to be out this week. Julio Jones, like I said, is going to be out. They're out a lot of players this week, and Tristan Wirfs may or may not return, depending on how he does this week. So we're taking a look at the Bucs team. I'm saying a blowout. We're going to talk about my Harvey hot hand. I have the Bengals at minus 3.5, and I think it's going to be absolute destruction. This team, there's a serious shot because they're
playing a lot better. They're on their.
I would say a lot
They're
better.
on their run. They're on their run.
They have to be.
The Bengals, yeah.
They have to be because right now they're shooting for the AFC North spot. And God forbid, Buffalo loses this week against Miami. Cincinnati and Baltimore loses. Cincinnati and the Kansas City also has to lose. If the Bills and Kansas City lose, which won't happen because they're playing the Texans, the Bengals will be the number 1 team in the AFC.
Wow.
Because they had the tiebreaker over Kansas City, and Buffalo would be below Kansas City, or above Kansas City. So I guess it would be a fight between those two. But this is going to get interesting because the Bucs have not been good. Todd Bowles still has confidence in his team, though, and I don't necessarily.
What's he going to say?
I don't necessarily agree that it's easier to get over a blowout than it is a close game. I don't get that because a blowout. You take a look at a blowout.
I'd say it's not easy to get over any loss.
Obviously,
Right?
but
there aren't that many games. There's 17 games in a season in the NFL. It's like baseball. You lose if you compare it to baseball. It's like losing 10 games in a row. Right. So every one game means quite a bit. It means a lot. So whether you lose it big or lose it by a little, I think it's got to hurt equally. I don't see why he says it's easy to get over a big a blowout loss. I would say that's harder because you lose confidence in yourself.
That's what I was going to say. You take a look at a close loss. Let's just say a close loss. You say, at least we have some positive thing. Our defense maybe kept them short. Or let's say it's a close win and you put up 45. Oh, our offense played phenomenally. Our defense was the bad part of that team. You get blown out and your offense does nothing and your defense can't stop them. That's demoralizing.
Yeah.
Because you take a look at it, there's no positive
That gives
output on
the
that
other
game.
the teams you're going to be playing, that gives them confidence they can beat you too.
Yeah. Oh, if this team blows you out, we have a slightly better player than you. Our quarterback is a little bit better than that quarterback, and they blew you out. Think about what we could do. So I think it's I don't agree with Todd Bowles' perspective on that.
I don't either.
Because I'd say a blowout loss is demoralizing. At least when it's close, there's some aspect of the game, whether it's
I like
the
Todd
offense
Bowles,
or
but
the
I'm not
defense.
sure head coach is his best spot. I think his defensive coordinator is a better role for him.
He's like, I'm just taking a look at
He
this.
doesn't show any emotion.
That's what I was gonna say.
He needs to be a little more fired up. Yeah, I think.
I think a lot of coaches, if they were
Belichick
this,
doesn't show that much emotion, but when somebody does something wrong, he lets them know about it.
oh yeah. When Belichick calls out a certain play on a game or a certain mistake that they made, Belichick has this weird thing where he has the same tone, but I guess it's with the pedigree that Belichick has with his career. You know, he's a 9-time Super Bowl champion in his totality of coordinator and being a head coach. It stings a little bit more, but with when Todd Bowles does it,
I think it's 8.
Is it 8?
I think so.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, 2 with the Giants, 6 with the
Two,
Patriots.
yeah,
Yeah,
right,
so
yeah.
8. If Bruce, I can say a lot of coaches, if they were put into the situation with the Bucs and they had the same result, a 6-7 team, your offense is slow, your defense is inconsistent, you have no running game. A lot of coaches, I think, would be very upset. And Todd Bowles is saying we just need to coach better. We got to coach better. The players got to play better. I think they know that. How are you going to do that? That's the question mark. And it's just the fact that, Brady can't get the offense going. The defense is inconsistent. The running game is bad. The offensive line is battered and bruised. It's just, you have no tight ends, really. You signed Kyle Rudolph. He's never in there. You brought Giovanni Bernard as Brady's receiving back. He's locked up on special teams. He doesn't even play on offense anymore. So I see a lot of problems with this Bucs team, and God forbid they lose this game. The Panthers, let's say the Panthers win and the Bucs lose. The Panthers are the leaders in the NFC South. And it's the Panthers Falcons this week. Or actually, no, that might not be right. I don't have it in front of me, but
That division's terrible.
it's the worst division of football.
It's awful.
The worst division of
It's
football.
interesting how every year there's a division that stinks.
And generally,
Right,
it's occasionally Brady's division.
Yeah.
More times.
I mean,
than
it
it's not.
was the NFC East.
It's been for a long time.
They stunk
For a
every
long
year,
time.
but now there are 3 of them are going to be could be 3
Every
teams in the play.
single- every single team.
4 teams. All teams could
every
get
single
into
team.
the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Every single team in this division is positive in the win-loss.
They're all in the playoffs right now,
All
right?
in the playoffs, all over 500, and there's only one other division in the NFL that has that, and that's the AFC East. Yeah, only one other division, AFC East, and it's relatively the same. Just the Miami has 2 more losses than the Cowboys do. But I'm nervous. I'm seeing because Brady seriously has a shot to miss the playoffs for the second time in his career.
I don't think they will. I think they'll find a way to get in.
Their offense is horrible.
I mean, they control their own destiny, and they're going to be playing weak teams. Most of the teams they got 2 more games against their division, right?
Yes,
Carolina
they have
and
Carolina and
Falcons.
Atlanta. Yes,
And they both at home, or are they away? Both those games.
I can bring that up right now. The Buccaneers go at Falcons,
At Falcons.
home against the Panthers. So they're at this game -3.5 or +3.5 at home against the Bengals. That's gonna be a blowout. That's gonna be a Harvey hot hand. Little spoiler alert. Then they go at Cardinals. They should win that game, but if they don't, the Panthers and Falcons are must wins. They have to win those games if they want to be in playoff contention. And I'm saying right now, the Bucs are going to be the 4 seed, and they're going to play the Dallas Cowboys. They beat the Cowboys in Week 1, 19-3.
Yeah.
But the only reason why they were able to win that game was because they rushed for 152 yards.
What? And they had injuries after that to their offensive line, right?
Injuries to the offensive line. Julio Jones got hurt after that game after catching like a 46-yard bomb. And then it all fell apart after that.
Huh.
The offense is never the same. Brady has had poor games. The offense has only put up over 20 points 5 times. And when they put up more than 21, they've lost both those times. They put up 22 and 31. They lost by 10 to Kansas City, lost by 5 to Baltimore. And they actually had the Baltimore game because Baltimore decided, we're going to switch things up in the first half. We're going to mainly pass the ball. And when that didn't work, they were down 10-3 at the half. They started to run the ball, and they rushed for 231 yards in that game.
Yeah.
After barely rushing in the first half. 10, and they turned it around. 24 points in the second half, mainly by running the football. Bucs couldn't stop it.
Yeah, well, they had a good strategy.
So I'm nervous. I don't agree with. I mean, Brady. Yeah, he's not playing well. I would say this is the first year that he's looked his age very much so. He's looked like a 45-year-old quarterback. His stats don't say it because a lot of the time they're in relatively garbage time. It's times where it's like, yeah, we're here. We're down by a lot. I'm just going to keep throwing it 45, 55 times,
Yeah.
So I'm nervous. They're going to get blown out. They're going to get blown out this week, and there's a chance they do miss the playoffs this year, but we'll see. Tom Brady missing the playoffs. You haven't seen that in 20 years.
That'd be bad for his last year if this is what it is.
I think it will be. All right, let's move on. We're gonna go to the association this time. We're talking about Stephen Curry. He got hurt against the Pacers a couple days ago. They do play tonight, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. They are playing the 76ers. They are 10-point underdogs against the 76ers.
At the 76ers?
At 76ers.
I predict they lose.
You think the 76ers are going to lose?
No. I think
the Warriors.
The Warriors
Yes, absolutely. 100%. The Warriors are 0-3 this year without Steph Curry. The injury turned out to be, I'm going to bring it up. It was some sort of shoulder injury. I want to get this right to be specific here. Shoulder subluxation, i.e.
that mean?
partial dislocation.
Wow.
It was a very weird play. He tried to strip the ball and immediately pulled back and felt something in his arm pop. And it turned out to be a partial dislocation. He'll be out for at least 2 weeks, potentially more. We take a look at the schedule here. There's a lot of games where the Warriors, I just think, are going to lose a lot. I mean, they've been losing a lot. They have a horrible record on the road. They're right now on a 5-game road stretch. They just lost last night against the Pacers. They're at 76ers, at Raptors, at Knicks, and at Nets. They could very well go 0-4 in the next 4 games, easily. He goes to the Grizzlies and the Hornets and the Jazz and the Trailblazers. The next chance you have is Wednesday, January 4th, against the Detroit Pistons or maybe the Orlando Magic when you have another chance to win. They can go on a severe losing streak here because most of these teams have really good offenses. Yeah. Really good offense. The Jazz have been surprisingly well after trading away key pieces like Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. And they're still doing really well this year. The Trailblazers used to be the number 1 team in the West. You take a look at the Memphis Grizzlies, John Morant, Jaren Jackson, who put up 8 blocks a couple days ago. He's a great player this year. The Charlotte Hornets, they're playing well. LaMelo Ball's back.
Oh, I think the Warriors are in trouble.
They are.
Because you look at their team, right? You look at the game against the Pacers.
Okay.
Stephen Curry, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, right?
Yeah.
The center is Looney. He only had 6 rebounds, right?
Okay.
And DiVincenzo, who's he? He's a
Dante DiVincenzo. He was
a powerful. What positions? He's a point guard. He had 8 rebounds. The frontline people. Look at Draymond Green. 2 rebounds. 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 point.
And
1 point.
There's more to that stat line. 6 turnovers. He got ejected.
Okay. Yeah. So, Jordan Poole.
He was still a plus 5 too.
I don't know how they lost this game in a way, right? They had 45 rebounds, and the Pacers had 34. They out-rebounded them by 11.
Okay.
They had 27 assists. The Pacers had 26, and they lost by 6 points. Mm-hmm. And their scoring was reasonably balanced, But the Pacers, they had this Halliburton guy scored almost 30 points.
Yeah, Halliburton's done really well.
And Mathurin, I'm not sure who he is. He scored 24. So I think the Warriors are Stephen Curry. He's their player. That's it.
And the problem,
he's the one that
Curry,
he's getting the most assists. He's up there with the rebounds too. Where are the other guys? I don't know. He scored 30 points.
He's averaging 36-6 this year as a 6'2", 185-pound guard.
Yeah. The rest of them have to step up their game to have as much intensity and motivation as Curry has. I don't know why they don't.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem I see a lot with the Warriors. The Warriors lost a lot of key pieces on defense. They lost Gary Payton II, who son of Gary Payton Sr., who was nicknamed the Glove, and he was nicknamed the Mitten. You lost Otto Porter Jr., a very favorable forward for them last year. You lost a lot of key defensive pieces. Your defense is terrible.
Yeah, what happened to Wiggins? He didn't even play.
He didn't even play. He's been out for the past, I think, 5 games.
Yeah, well, they've got to get him back. If they don't have him and Curry out, if they have both of them out, they're not going to win any games.
Right. It's very difficult to win when some of your key guys are out. Klay Thompson was also on this game. Klay Thompson's played very well lately. He's definitely had a rebound so far, but it's strictly about consistency. Their defense has been very, very bad. They're 16th in rebounds, so they're average.
When did Curry get hurt in that game?
I think in the middle of the 3rd quarter.
So
he had 38 points through 2.5 quarters.
30 points.
No, 38. 38 points through.
No, I had 30 points.
38 points. Yeah.
He had 38?
38.
I had wrote it down wrong.
in 2.5 quarters.
So he was headed for a 50-point game.
He was,
probably,
yeah.
They probably ahead. Were they ahead when he got hurt?
I think it was close, but the crazy part about it is Curry put up 38, 7, and 7, and was still a -6 on the floor. The Warriors got outscored by 6 points when Curry was on the floor. That Draymond Green stat line, he was still a +5. That's the crazy thing about it. And Curry's not a great defender. That's the one thing that you can knock on Steph Curry's game. He's not a very good, consistent defender. He's small. He doesn't have great defensive skills. He occasionally does get a very nice steal and potentially a nice block. But we're talking about just generally, he's not a very good defender. The Warriors right now are crazy in fouling, turnovers. They're not great in steals or blocks. They're 20th in steals, 21st in steals, 24th in blocks, 29th in turnovers, and 29th in fouls. They're fouling, they're committing turnovers, they don't get steals, they don't get blocks.
That's why they're losing.
And they're horrible in 2 points. They're 28th in first of all, they only attempt threes. They're the number 1 team in 3 points made, or 3 points attempted and 3 points made. And they're 5th in 3-point percentage.
Yeah.
They're 6th and 28th in 2 points made and attempted. They're not, and first of all, also free throws. They don't take that many free throws. They're dead last in free throw attempts. They're not driving because they play small. They don't have any big guys that can go up there and get rebounds. They generally get out rebounded. They play no defense. I mean, here, let's see if I can find. They're giving up 116.8 points a game. That's 26th in the league.
Yeah.
They have compared to road and home, they have a 16-point disparity between the amount of points they score on the road versus at home. If the season ended today, that would be the highest disparity in NBA history.
Really?
The highest disparity of points scored on the road and points scored at home. I don't know what it is with the Warriors. They cannot play on the road.
That's weird. They didn't have this problem last year, right?
They were great defensively last year. They beat up on the Celtics at home. Beat up on them. It was a remake of last year's finals. Then they go on the road and it looks like they're a G League team.
Yeah.
They're terrible. They can't play any defense.
They got to figure that out if they want to make the playoffs.
It's hard
right now. They're beat up. They're Thompson is hurt too.
He was resting because he's still rehabbing his ACL and Achilles injuries.
Oh.
So we don't know when he'll be 100% to go back to back, which I don't know if he'll ever do that again. I think he's lost some defensive edge.
He's getting older.
He's getting older. Curry shot 50% from 3, 58% from the field, 100% from the free throw line, 11 of 11. He's one of the greatest free throw shooters in the history of the game. Jordan Poole's going to need to step up, but you can't step up when you're shooting 14% from 3. That's what Jordan Poole was in that game, 1 of 7. He's 8 of 22 from the floor.
He had 20 points, so.
Yeah. No, that's true. He shot 8 of 22 from the floor. The reserves that the Warriors have. Moses Moody's okay. Kuminga, he's not showing up like he used to. They dropped their guy, the 2nd overall pick a couple years ago, James Wiseman. He was all the way in the G League again. I don't know why he's there. Kevon Looney isn't an offensive stud at all. 4 points. So, and then Draymond Green, he's a triple single, shot 0 for in the entire game, got ejected, had 6 turnovers anyway. This Warriors team is in some trouble here. I mean, a 47-point second quarter. That's how many points the Pacers put up in the second quarter. 47 points. I don't know what it is with this Warriors team going on the road. They just do not have the same energy. They don't play with the same tempo. They cannot get into rhythm whatsoever. There's a lot of problems here, and it's bad.
Yeah.
It's really, really bad. All right, so coming up, could this be Zach Wilson's last chance with the Jets? Can Bill Belichick get a win against his former offensive coordinator? We make our Week 15 picks, and I do my 15th consecutive Harvey Oddhand right after this.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
Podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's break it down. We're talking about Zach Wilson, because guess what? Mike White out, Zach Wilson in. Mike White was not cleared by the Jets doctors to play this week against the Lions. That means Zach Wilson, second overall pick 2 years ago, will get a start. He was benched back in week 12 after a horrendous performance against the Patriots, I believe. And now he's back. He's back being the starter. And the line moved. The Jets were favored by a point. And or the Lions were favored by a point. Now the Jets have become favored, which is a little bit weird.
That's weird. I don't understand
It's a little bit strange.
Did somebody get hurt on the Lions? It's not going to play?
Supposedly not. The line has been moving all week, supposedly. And maybe, I'm going to look it up right now, but maybe the line moved once again because the line has been crazy over the past couple of days. I've been keeping a close eye on it. And there's more news. The line has been updated. Line's now favored 1.5. So there you go. The lines have been favored.
Yeah, that makes more sense to me.
So Zach Wilson getting the start. Could this be his last chance for the Jets? Could Mike White retain the starting job next year? Zach Wilson moves off.
How badly is Mike White hurt?
He's dealing with a plethora of injuries. He had a very, very bad hit, and
I saw that.
It was a brutal hit. He's dealing with a rib injury. He's out. So,
well, he probably won't be back next week either.
There's a chance.
So I would say it may not be his last chance, Zach Wilson. I'd say if he plays terrible and Mike White can't play, then Flacco's going to get a start.
Flacco is the quarterback too. They do not have a quarterback.
And you know what? If Zach Wilson plays really bad in the first half here, you might see Flacco on this weekend.
I will probably agree with you there.
Yeah.
So
it's up to Zach Wilson. This is a chance. He needs to step up. He really needs to show that he can do it. And this is a good chance, too, because the Lions have a lousy defense.
Yeah. They have the 31st
so
ranked defense.
He's in a good spot. He should be able to, if he's going to make a statement about he is really an NFL quarterback, then this weekend is a good opportunity for him because he's going against a defense that he should be able to do something against.
Right. I'm going to say this. Okay, so maybe it's not his last start, but this stint towards now and the end of the season.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that.
This will be the chance.
I mean, if he plays well this weekend, he'll get another start.
Absolutely.
Right? Because White is banged up, and they'd rather go with the younger quarterback than Flacco. I don't really understand that. But the Jets haven't been a playoff contender for years, right? And this year they are. This year they are. So why wouldn't they let Flacco play? He's a Super Bowl quarterback.
It's been a long time.
They keep saying that they're looking at the future and building and everything. Well, the future is right now, getting into the playoffs. They have a chance.
Right.
So why wouldn't they go with a quarterback who has lots of playoff experience?
Because
he's there. I'd say they give Zach Wilson a half. If they're behind and he hasn't played well in the first half, you're going to see Joe Flacco. And if Flacco winds up winning that game for them, then you're going to see him next week too, and the rest of the season. That would be the smart thing to do.
I'm going to agree with you. And I think we're going to see Zach Wilson. We're going to see a slightly better version of Zach Wilson, I think. We're not going to see 9 of 30 like he was. It was about, what was it, 9 of 30 or 9 of 22 maybe against the Patriots in the second game.
In the second game, he did nothing.
Yeah, he did absolutely nothing. I think we're going to see a slightly better version of Zach Wilson than that game because the Lions don't have a great defense.
He won't be in there very long if he plays like that.
I could probably see Zach Wilson go 12 of 28 for, let's see, he can put up, 77 yards in the game against the Patriots. I could see him go for 140.
Yeah.
12 of 28, 140. I would say 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And I mean, we each have the Lions winning this week. So I'm going to say the Lions still pull out the win, though. Yeah. Because I think the offense will outpace anything the Jets could do.
The Jets have a good defense.
They do. They have a phenomenal defense.
They have a very good defense. So
it's rated top 3 in the league. So
they may.
Or top
5.
The
Lions may not be able to move the ball that well. The Jets may have a lot of time of possession. So
right.
If unless Zach Wilson goes 3 and out every time, we'll see.
Their passing defense is currently ranked 4th.
I say if he doesn't really get it going, he'll be out. He won't be in that game the whole game.
I'll probably agree with you, but how bad does it need to be for Joe Flacco? Because Joe Flacco came in.
I'd say if they're trailing at halftime and Zach Wilson hasn't completed 50% of his passes and he's probably thrown an interception, he's out.
I could probably see that. Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. The crazy part about this Jets team, their defense is phenomenal. Sauce Gardner in man coverage is basically, he's created his own. You remember Revis Island is now Sauce Island right now.
Sauce Island.
Sauce Gardner has been phenomenal this year. DJ Reed has been very good this year. Their defense is tremendous. They have the 4th best passing defense, the 13th best rushing defense. That is very good, especially for a Jets team. That is tremendous. Their wide receivers are very, very good. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore. These guys are very good guys. They have 2 pretty good tight ends, Conklin and then CJ Uzomah from who's on the Bengals last year. Yeah. He doesn't really get used that much, but he I think he's a formidable tight end. Your running game is a little bit of a question mark with Breece Hall out, but it's still very viable. Your only problem
is your quarterback.
And Mike White gave you a little bit of a spark, but wasn't that good. No. He had one extremely good game.
It was just like last year. He was good the first time. He lit it up, and then he faded. Yeah. Yes. Same thing happened to him this time.
It's expectations. A lot of quarterbacks.
Although he got beat up in the
shredded.
He got hit very, very hard.
I'm surprised he stayed in that game after that big hit with his ribs, because they brought in Joe Flacco. He had like -1 yards and a fumble on the first play he was in. He immediately got hit and fumbled the ball, which that's a great look for you if you're trying to play again. Zach Wilson for the past 3 weeks didn't even suit up for the games. He was in a hoodie moping around. So I'm hoping he gets humbled here. He's
got to be humbled. Good. I don't know if he could be any more humbled. He got crucified by the New York sports media.
Absolutely.
Yeah, by us too.
You had
he's been crucified by all sports broadcasters.
Yeah, you had the fan. Some viewers on the fan were saying, comparing him to Steve Young and Emilio.
I know. Before the Patriots game, they were talking him up like, wow, he is a franchise guy.
He reminds me of Steve Young.
Boomer Esiason was saying, yeah, he's got the arm, he's got the skill, he can make those plays, he is mobile, he couldn't say enough good things about him. The next week he was like, he is the worst. He should never be playing again. They said he's out, he's done. It's amazing, they turned on him 100%.
Yeah. I never really thought, albeit Zach Wilson is 5-2, but a lot of that was Breece Hall. When Breece Hall played 7 games this year, 463 yards, 4 touchdowns, rushing the ball. He caught 19 passes for 218 yards and 1 touchdown. He had, about 700 yards total and 5 total touchtowns.
What year was Breece Hall? Was he a rookie?
He's a rookie this year.
Wow.
He's been hurt.
Would they draft him high?
I think it might have been a steal. They drafted him second round with the 4th pick in the second round. So it wasn't really a steal, but he's very, very good. And it sucks that he's
see how
out.
he recovers from a knee injury like that.
He's a big running back compared to others. He's 6'1", 220. And a lot of running backs are below 6 foot, 5'10", 5'9", 5'11". Not a lot of them are big. You have Pacheco on the Chiefs. He's a big running back. I think he's 6'2", maybe. So
I think a shorter running back is probably a better because he gets behind the great big lineman. They don't see him.
Depends. If you're looking for an elusive back, yes, but a power back, you want him to be pretty big.
Yeah.
But hey, Zach Wilson, if you can't beat the Lions with the 31st ranked defense, you're done. I'm sorry. And especially if you put up, let's say, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, and you complete 63% of your throws, but the defense can't stop the Lions and Lions outscore you, that's respectable. If you play badly, and even if it's close, because the defense, I think, may keep this game relatively close. I think I might have it in my Harvey hot hand, but if this defense can keep it relatively close, and you're the reason why, yeah, you're done. But once again, if you put up 300 yards, a couple touchdowns, maybe a pick, at least that's saying, okay, I at least played well.
Yeah.
I just couldn't beat, a better team. But if you play poorly, yeah, that's kind of on you. All right, let's move on to our next topic. It's an important game for the Patriots. It's
important. It's a must win.
It's a must win for the Patriots.
Must win.
The Patriots were favored early in this week, but the Raiders decided to take over that point spread. They are now favored by 1 point. Josh McDaniels is 1-0 in his head coaching career against Bill Belichick.
Ancient. That was ages ago.
Hey, one with Tim Tebow in 2009. Belichick has a losing record against his former assistants.
I know, it's interesting. 18-19.
He lost to Matt Patricia. He lost to Josh McDaniels. Joe Judge is a disgrace, and I don't even think... I don't
think they ever played.
I don't think they ever played. So he lost to Brian Flores a few times. He blew out Brian Flores 43-0, I think, in his first year coaching.
Yeah.
But that Dolphins team was not very good. So do you think the Patriots offense can get a spark? Because I don't know if I have it here, but I can bring it up. The Raiders, I believe, are the
24th.
24th ranked defense. They're 29th in passing, which that's key. But do you think the Patriots can get a spark, and especially Mac Jones, can he get a spark on the offensive side to get things rolling?
How is their defensive line, and how have they been doing, the Raiders sacking the quarterback?
The Raiders have the 10th best, they're top 10 in rushing defense. Sacks, I don't have that total number in front of me.
Wow.
But they have been giving up a lot of points. They are 27th in points given up.
My sense is if they can get pressure on the quarterback, then that's going to be tough for Mac Jones because he holds the ball too long before he throws it. He stands back there too long, and they generally get to him. So, they were trying to throw the ball a lot quicker, and when they do that, it's good. But sometimes he doesn't know where the receivers are, so it's hard for him to process and do it quickly. So that's their problem with him. And their offensive line is not great. They're having a tough time this year on their offensive line. So
I think I still have it here. I think they're the 23rd ranked offensive line. Because I talked about it on last show. I still have it here. They are the 23rd ranked offensive line.
Yeah.
18th in pass block win rate, dead last in run block win rate. So they're not a very good offensive line, but that's obvious because you have Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator, who coached the Lions, and your team was terrible even with Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford just won a Super Bowl. Then you have Joe Judge also coaching up Mac Jones as your QB coach. Mac Jones is, I have it here, 32nd ranked quarterback out of 37 qualified quarterbacks. This offense is terrible. And Belichick has a tough time stopping number one receivers. And you going up against Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, the tight end's coming back. Hunter Renfrow is coming back. Josh Jacobs is questionable, but will probably go.
Yeah. Well, it'd be nice if he wasn't in there.
Obviously, because, although their backup running back is still good.
I do think that, Belichick will have something for Derek Carr. And
he did it in the preseason.
Yeah, I think you'll see, an interception or two in this game because the Patriots do have a good secondary, and they have good linebackers. Their front four, or three, however they play it, are not great. They don't get enough pressure on the quarterback, but the linebackers are very, very active, and you see Uche, McMillan,
he's been phenomenal.
They got a bunch of them.
They do have a lot.
And even Judon is he's slowed down a little bit. He hasn't had as many sacks recently.
Still 14 and a half sacks this
I know.
year. It's more. It's the most in his career.
Yeah. So
Josh
they're
Uche's
going to
right
have
there
to.
with
The defense going to have to be very good on Sunday because the Patriots' offense has been questionable this year for sure.
What Belichick has done with Matt Judon since he came there is tremendous. Matt Judon, before he came here, never had 10 or more sacks. The 2 years he's with the Patriots, a combined 27 sacks.
Yeah.
So what Bill Belichick has done with Matt Judon is truly incredible. But that's what he does. Belichick does really well on the defensive backs, the linebackers, and defensive line generally.
General. I don't think so on the defensive line. They don't get enough pressure on the
You don't like
quarterback.
Dietrich Wise? He's third in sacks
No,
for the
he's
team.
pretty good. He's pretty good, but he's one guy.
Lawrence
the rest
Guy?
of them. Lawrence Guy.
Inconsistent but good, I would say. He's inconsistent but good.
They like him. He's been on the team for a number of years now.
Yeah.
Guy.
I mean,
How about Godshocks? He hasn't played up to potential.
he has 1 sack on the year. He has not played very well.
Barmore's
out.
He's out.
He's out.
He got hurt. So I don't know.
And I'll
They might be a little better if Barmore didn't get hurt.
Yes. Yeah.
He
I think Barmore was very, very good. He was.
What was his injury?
I'm not too sure. Let's see if I can bring it up. It won't tell me. I think it was his leg, though.
Yeah.
I think it was his leg. I said it last week, and I'll say it this week. If Devontae Adams is solo matched up against Jonathan Jones, Devontae Adams will have 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, thank God, I shouldn't say that, but the Patriots were very fortunate that Kyler Murray went down. Otherwise, I think DeAndre Hopkins would have had a field day because I think there was a long shot that it was Jonathan Jones got a big pass interference call in the game against the Cardinals. And as soon as I saw the flag and I saw solo coverage, I was like, oh, that's Jonathan Jones. And I heard defensive pass interference, Patriots, number 23. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
31.
Or 31, sorry. Oh, that makes sense.
Duggar is 23.
Right. So I think if the Patriots solo Devontae Adams, they're going to have a very, very rough time.
I don't understand why they play so much man coverage against really good receivers. I think they ought to try some of the zone defense, but I don't know. We'll see.
And the Patriots are getting slightly healthier, but we will see when it comes to game time because Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson are both questionable, with Damian Harris probably being doubtful for this game. But that's the question mark. They're out Jacoby Myers again. He's still dealing with the concussion, still on concussion protocol. Devontae Parker will also be out probably with a concussion. Jack Jones is the DNP. He probably won't be in there. Their rookie cornerback who was really, really good this year. Really surprising. At one point, he was ranked by Pro Football Focus the number 1 cornerback in the league.
I don't know how they could do that.
He had a pretty nice pick 6 against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but that was one or 2 games. How could they rank him number 1 in the league?
PFF is a little bit weird. Yeah. They have Andy Dalton, the top 10 graded quarterback in the league. Jalen Mills, the Green Goblin, he hasn't been very good with his tenure with the Patriots. The offensive line is questionable, not that great. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of factors that come into play. The offense is terrible, 21st in passing, 23rd in rushing. And what's crazy is that everyone in everyone's minds, you think, Ramondre Stevenson, the Patriots have a pretty good running game. And you take a look at it, the passing game actually outranks the rushing game, which that's surprising.
They've been throwing to the backs quite a bit.
That's true.
They threw to him, Stevenson. I think
he's leading the team in receptions.
Yeah.
So that's it's interesting. If he's out, we're gonna definitely see. I said in the preseason when they first played, I said Raiders gonna blow out the team. I think they won by 16 points, 17 points. Because I just took a look at the team like, oh, well they have Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Derek Carr. Oh, that's better than B to B minus receivers. Ramondre Stevenson I always thought was a B plus. Mac Jones.
Stevenson's an A.
He's
an A.
Compared to the rest of the backs.
He's an A. He's an A because he can catch the ball out of the backfield really well.
A lot of running backs do that nowadays.
No, I don't know. I bet he has the best stats for that. When you look at his yards and his receptions, I bet he's leading the league. Yeah. How many receptions does he got?
Okay, so yards.
He's 700 yards?
Yards, Ramondre Stevenson is 16th behind Lamar Jackson.
Okay. And what about in passing receptions for backs? Or do you have a stat like that?
I could bring it up. Receptions. Let's see. When is the how was it? 50. Okay, let's go. I found him here. Let's see if there's any running back above him. Austin Eckler. He's above him.
Okay, but how many yards has he got rushing? Eckler.
Eckler has. Let me see. It didn't catch my eye. 27. He's 27th.
He's 27th in rushing.
27th in rushing.
And
Ramon J. Stevenson is 16th.
So Stevenson's leading the league then when you put the two together.
Well, if you're comparing backs and receiving yards,
Receiving
yes.
and rushing
Yes.
together, he's leading the league.
But if you take a look at rushing
that's
touchdowns, Ramon J. Stevenson was all the way down to 26th in the league.
That one, the Patriots haven't been able to score any touchdowns this year.
Austin Eckler's 13th.
They get into the red zone and they fall apart.
The Patriots are very, very bad in the red zone. I actually can tell you that number right now. They are dead last. They're dead last in the red zone, converting 38.9%.
That's on the offensive coordinator. I got to say, the offensive coordinator.
Well, the Patriots don't have one.
Well, I'm saying the guy calling the plays then. Yeah.
It's the figurehead is Matt Patricia, but Joe Judge is putting input in there.
Yeah. I don't know. They have that's a long step down from Josh McDaniels.
Absolutely.
You look at the performance of Mac Jones under Josh McDaniel compared to these guys that they have now, and he's fallen off dramatically, right? He was a rookie.
People are saying that's a reflection on Mac Jones. I don't think so. It's more of a reflection on the way the offense.
I do think Mac Jones should keep his mouth shut out on the field.
You got to keep people accountable.
Oh yeah, well, I don't think he's playing for them. He's not the boss. He's not the coach.
He's a quarterback.
He's the quarterback. He should not be dissing the coaches openly on the field. That should be in the locker room. They should talk about that. That's something I'm sure Belichick's not happy about.
I'd say it's accountability. No one else is saying the truth. Mac Jones is showing that it's true.
Yeah, well.
You don't see Bill.
I think it comes off as sour grapes.
You don't see Bill Belichick saying, "Well, our offensive play, we got to coach the offense better. We got to come out here. We got to play we got to." There was a report coming out that's saying that Matt. I think Bill Belichick even said this. That we got to get the offensive plays out quicker. Matt Patricia's still going through his playbook saying, let's see. Do I want to call that play? Let's go with Bravo X slant YB, and Mac Jones has 10 seconds left, and then he has to call a timeout because there's no time left to call out the play. Because Matt Patricia he's not because he doesn't want to play because he's the defensive play caller. At this, if it gets down to because the headset cuts off at 15 seconds, it gets down to 17 seconds. He goes screen to Jacoby Myers, and then he goes okay, and then he calls out the play. That's what it's looking like. Screen to Stevenson. Because Matt Patricia doesn't know what's going on. And then Joe Judge is coaching horribly. He's a special teams guy. Special teams is for the reserves, and guys don't make the full starting lineup in other offense or defense.
I don't know how you could tell whether he's coaching bad or not. He doesn't really do anything.
He's the quarterback quarterback
but he's
coach.
not calling the plays.
Look how bad Mac Jones is regressing. In his footwork has been terrible. He's been trying to work on his foot. He even said he's working on his footwork. His mentality in the game, an out route. He's now afraid to throw an out route because he might get picked off and have it go the other way. They showed that against the Cardinals. They showed that in the pregame. How Hunter Henry might be on an out route, and then there's the defender relatively close by. Mac Jones won't throw it. He'll hold to the ball. Well, that's where you're correct. That's the part where you say Mac Jones holds on to it for too long. That's when you're right. But if you're talking in the pocket collapses.
Yeah.
Very, very. I think Mac Jones is one of the.
Well, maybe they should
lowest
fire
pocket.
Maybe they should fire Matt Patricia.
They're gonna move him because Belichick doesn't go up and fire coordinators he trusts and knows.
And make him a scout.
Or you know what they're gonna do? They just might hire an actual OC. But Matt Patricia will just keep being the offensive line coach.
Well, he's doing a poor job there too.
I agree with you, but Belichick doesn't go off. Belichick does not get rid of coaches. There's a reason why he brought back the failure of two head coaches in Matt Patricia and Joe Judge because he actually believes in them. Belichick doesn't go out.
They had some good seasons with those guys, but they were doing different jobs.
They were touching the offense, and the offense I still have it here have been terrible. Look,
I'm saying Joe Judge was a special teams coach,
and he hired him as the quarterbacks coach.
I know.
Look how Daniel Jones was ranked 26th in the league when he was being head coach.
I don't understand that. They have to do something about that.
When I told you from the
too late this year, but
obvious. No,
maybe they'll
absolutely.
get it together. Maybe there's still a few games left. We'll see.
I said from the very beginning, as soon as I heard Matt Patricia and Joe Judge are going to be coaches next year, and I kept hearing the report, they're not saying who's going to call the plays, and then there were reports out there saying that Bill Belichick might call the plays, Joe Judge is going to have input, Matt Patricia might be the head play caller. I said, the Patriots are screwed.
Yeah.
They have a special teams coordinator, a defensive-minded head coach, and a defensive coordinator calling offensive plays. And it's Mac Jones, a second-year rookie. And I said, if they don't have an official OC,
You were right so far.
Mac Jones, I said from the very beginning, Mac Jones will regress significantly. I'm going to bring the film out probably on Tuesday if we talk about this game, we highlight this game. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back in the film, replay when I said that, because I'm very happy with myself that I saw this, because it was right there in front of me, and people were saying, "Oh no, Belichick, Matt Patricia." It was ridiculous. The fact that it was a train.
They can't do much about it right now.
And
They'll have to-
Belichick even said that he got asked about, are there going to be any big changes with the way the offense goes? He's like, this is too late to make changes, and I don't know. So it's ridiculous now. The Patriots are
They're
now
usually correct from year to year. When they their offensive line was horrible once before they brought back Dante Scarnacchia, and the offensive line improved. So I don't know. I think they'll make some changes next year on that.
Their offensive line, okay, parts of their team improved year to year, but where it mattered, head coach and quarterback, and even tight end most of the time, that was a consistent position. You had the greatest quarterback of all time as your quarterback. And he was young too. He was relatively young when he was on. He played 20 years with the Patriots. Played essentially his entire career with them. So he was the consistent piece. Now you have a second-year quarterback going up against a second-year running back and like a fourth-year running back. You have guys who are on their second year with the Patriots.
Yeah, well, they have a young team. They're building.
And they have a young team with, compared to the rest of the league, not that much talent. I think a lot of those receivers.
Maybe the receiver on offense. I tend to agree with you. I think they have Stevenson. He's good.
He has a high ceiling.
Yeah, the rest of them, I don't know. Mac Jones, I think he's a little bit questionable. And the wide receivers, maybe Thornton is going to be good, but they haven't really thrown much to him yet.
I'm saying Tyquan Thornton is not a great route runner. I'm still saying he'd be better as a returner.
Didn't N'Keal Harry get drafted before DK Metcalf?
Yes, he was a first-round draft pick.
That was a huge mistake.
The Patriots traded DK Metcalf's pick to the Seahawks, and then they just went out and they decided to choose N'Keal Harry in the first round instead of going for a guy who had 10%.
When was DK Metcalf drafted? The second round?
Second round, 64th pick, which is what the Patriots had.
They should have drafted that guy. That guy is a beast.
Yeah.
I was watching him last night. He is good.
Yeah.
He is really good. He's tough, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It would be
He's got a mindset, too. I like that guy. I think he's an all-pro guy.
Absolutely. 2019, Brady's last year, which was DK Metcalf's first year. Their receivers would be Philip Dorsett, a speedster, who they, for some reason, didn't use. Let's see. Josh Gordon was on that team. Julian Edelman, DK Metcalf. Mohamed Sanu had his on and offs there. That would have been the Patriots team. DK Metcalf, Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon. AB was there for 30 minutes. Mohamed Sanu, and then I'm not even gonna throw N'Keal Harry out there. He had 49 yards.
He was terrible.
49 yards rushing. Passing.
He was hurt. He was hurt too.
He had 105 yards on 12 catches.
Yeah.
He had 2 touchdowns though. 2 touchdowns, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is it's 2/5 of his total. He only has 5 touchdowns in his career.
Yeah.
He's not a great receiver, but I'm picking the Raiders here. I'm picking the Raiders. I don't think Bill Belichick can stop Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, and Devontae Adams.
Well, we'll see. I'm picking the Patriots.
Plus, you got Max Crosby and Chandler Jones at your edges.
Yeah.
Chandler
Jones will be hyped up for this game, right?
Brent Brown is going to other guard Mad Max Crosby or Chandler Jones. I guarantee you Mac Jones will get sacked 3 times. And I'm going to call it again. Patriots going to have 7 penalties for like 68 yards. Because they are one of the most penalized teams in the league. And Trent Brown has been horrible all year. I've been through this. He does the drop block, and all you got to do is, wait half a second and you beat him. All right, I think it's time for our next topic. We're making our Week 15 picks, so let's get going with it. Let's bring up the the picks here. Yeah, I guess you're starting. You start off 1-0 this week.
1-0. That's usually good. I like the Vikings. They've been good all year. The Colts, of course, I'd never get it right when the Colts are playing, but I think I'm going to get it right. Vikings at home, and I like the points. The Ravens against the Browns. I hate the Browns. I think they're not. I just don't think they're any good. Even with Deshaun Watson, this is his second game. He didn't play that well against Houston. They say it's rust. Well, maybe he's just not that good. And Lamar will be in there. I'm pretty sure the Ravens are going to win.
Lamar's not going to be in there.
Oh, he's going to be hurt? He's out?
They're going to start Tyler Huntley. He was, I think he might be questionable.
I still think they're going to win.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
I like the Bills over the Dolphins. The Bills are at home. It's going to be cold up there, maybe snowing. The Dolphins are a warm weather team. They're going to.
Did you hear the what happened in the last game against San Francisco? Or was it whatever the last game they played was.
Who?
The Dolphins. It was like 50-degree weather. They had the heaters on.
Yeah, well, they're going to be unhappy up there in Buffalo because it's going to be cold.
No, it's going to be. I think
windy.
I think it's below freezing.
Yeah,
that's the weather report.
I'm pretty sure Buffalo wins that game. Kansas City, they're prohibitive favorites against Texans. I'll take those 14 points. And the Steelers, I think Kenny Pickett playing?
Questionable. Doubtful.
Doubtful?
Yeah, doubtful.
Yeah. Well, I'm still taking the Steelers. Even the Panthers, they have a shot at the playoffs, right? They're 2 games behind right now.
They beat the Bucs, so 1 game.
Oh, okay. So I might be wrong on this one, but I'm going to go with the Steelers because I like Mike Tomlin. We talked about this. I like the Lions over the Jets. The Cowboys are going to beat Jacksonville because Jacksonville, they're inconsistent. One game they look really good. Next game they look lousy.
People are calling this a trap game. People are saying the Jaguars might have a serious shot.
Yeah, well, they're going to be at home, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game.
Eagles, prohibitive favorite over the Bears.
Justin Fields' return game.
Yeah, well, I think the Eagles, they only lost 1 game this year, and Chicago is they had they looked like they could be good, and then they've been lousy lately.
Yeah.
Right? I think the Saints beat the Falcons because Mariota's not going to be playing.
Desmond Ridder.
And I think even though Wilson is not playing for the Broncos, neither is Murray for the Cardinals. So I think the Broncos have the better defense there, and I think they'll find a way to win that game. I like the Patriots because they're my team. I think the Bengals are on a roll now. I never pick against Tom Brady. This is probably a mistake. I'm picking against him, and
Smart choice.
Bengals will win, even though they're playing at the Buccaneers. I'd love to see the Titans beat the Chargers because I think it's between the Patriots and the Chargers and the Jets for that 7th playoff spot, and I do think the Lions are going to beat the Jets. So if the Titans could find a way to knock off the Chargers, that'd be great, but I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. I like the Washington over the Giants. They're playing at home, and I think I don't know how they lost the first game against New York. They should have won that.
They tied.
Well, I'm okay, tied, but to me that's a loss.
Fair.
They both lost that game. That's how I look at it when they tie. And Green Bay, they should beat L.A. I'd love to see Baker Mayfield play like he did in the last game. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be. You have a lot of pretty good picks there. I'm not gonna lie. But,
because they're the same ones you did. Huh?
Some I actually did change. Some I did change.
Oh yeah.
Pre-show. The first, I would say picks and spreads and everything like that. But let's get into it here. The first game, you know how it goes. Start off 1-0 for me. I generally do well. Last time I start off 1-0, I believe I went 11-3 that week. So let's get it started. So 1-0, like I said. Next game, the Colts-Vikings game. This spread has been going down for the Vikings every single day. I believe it opened at 5 points, -5 for the Vikings. It's gone down 1.5 points since then.
Why?
People are saying that the Colts might have, because
they ain't gonna win that.
Well,
game.
right now the Vikings have the 32nd ranked defense in the league. So that is a big question mark.
How they only lost a couple of games then? I don't understand it. If their defense is so terrible.
Because I think recently it has been very, very bad.
Oh,
and,
really?
And
Yeah.
plus, Justin Jefferson, I think, needs 400-something yards to pass Calvin Johnson's a record of receiving yards in a season.
Yeah,
which
well, he's probably going to get it.
I think there's a good shot for it. So, I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a good game. And these are all Saturday games, I should say, too. Saturday football's here. It's
Looking
very
forward
exciting.
to that.
Next one, Ravens at the Cleveland Clowns. I'm picking the Cleveland Clowns. Deshaun Watson. I don't think, first of all, the Ravens defense has been a little bit questionable. The offense barely beat a crippled Broncos team. Barely. And I think the Browns defense has been really good lately. And I think Deshaun Watson, he played okay last week. Not great. He did throw a touchdown. I think the running game will be the savior here. I think they play keep away ball from Anthony Brown or Tyler Huntley or whoever's
I bet
quarterback.
Deshaun Watson throws 2 interceptions.
It very well could be, but I do think the Browns do get the win here, and obviously cover the spread. I'm gonna give the Bills the win here, but I'm gonna say the Dolphins cover the +7. The Bills recently their offense has been not the greatest, and in bad weather against a pretty good Jets defense, they barely won that game, and the Jets almost came back. If it was for Mike White getting, assaulted on the field every time he, step back in the pocket, going out there and, half a torso, there was a chance, they might be able to win that game. I think the Dolphins right now, they're playing with something. They're trying to keep a playoff spot here. They've been embarrassed the past 2 weeks. Tua has looked horrible the past couple weeks. He was at one point against the 49ers 3 of 17. That's a bad shooting night in the NBA. That's not a quarterback stat line whatsoever. So I think they might cover the spread. This could be a 4-point game here. I'll take the Bills to win. Dolphins do cover. Now, as generally recently, I think at about week 10, I decided to finally stick with double-digit point spreads. I go against the favorite, but the Chiefs have been the only ones recently to cover a massive spread. They covered a 16-point or 15-point spread versus the Rams. I'm going to do the same thing here with the Texans. The Texans are bad. They are a bad football team, and I feel bad for Lovie Smith because they played a hell of a game last week against the Cowboys. Dak Prescott needed a 98-yard drive to beat them, but I do think the Chiefs are a better team than the Cowboys are, at least offensively. Yeah. Although with Dak back, the Cowboys have been the highest scoring team since Dak came back. But I think the Chiefs, just as a team, as a unit, are on a whole nother level.
You think Lovie Smith's done with Houston?
I'm going to say yes, but I wish not, because I think he's not a bad coach. He's just in a horrible situation. Yeah. The Texans are they are a horrible football team. Yeah. And I forgot what it was, but it was a really good point. Someone asked, why don't the bottom 4 teams in the NFL, it's like a Premier League in soccer, or the Champions League. They drop down. They drop out of the NFL into a sub-league. And the winner of that league, or the number 1 and 2 spots, they come up and go into the NFL. Something like that. It's an interesting take. You would need to add more teams to the NFL to be able to have to sub out these bunch of teams. But it's an interesting take because I think a lot of these teams, recently, a lot of these teams like the Jets a couple of years ago, even last year.
The owners would never allow that to happen,
I'm saying
right?
it's just an interesting idea. The
that
Texans
hurts the value of the franchise if you drop them out of the NFL and put them in
I understand
like a Sandlot League.
No, I just think it's an interesting take because a lot of these teams are terrible and a lot of these are easy wins. But, we've seen crazier things. But regardless, Chiefs get the win and cover. Next one, I'm picking the Panthers +3. And to get, obviously, the win. Sam Darnold and this Panthers team have been rolling on offense, and their defense has been doing really, really well. With Kenny Pickett out, Mitch Trubisky, we saw him last week. He turned into Kenny Pick'em-off. He was Trubisky. That's what it was, Mitchell Trubisky.
He's done after the season. He'll be a backup forever. If he's even that. Yeah.
Maybe. So it's up to Mitch Trubisky or Mason Rudolph. I think there's a shot Mason Rudolph could be the starter.
Yeah, why not
game.
let him in there? I don't know why not.
Maybe.
He hasn't played at all this year.
So I'm going to take the Panthers to win. That defense is really, really good recently. Steve Wilkes is coaching up a storm right now. He could be coaching up into his head coaching job with the Panthers next season. I could see that. So I'll take the Panthers to win here and cover. The next game, the Lions offense, I think, regardless of what the Jets defense does, I think the Lions offense could outpace anything the Jets could do on defense or even on offense. With Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamal Williams, and DeAndre Swift, along with a really good offensive line with Penei Sewell, I just think this team is really, really good. At least the offense. The defense has a lot of question marks. They've been banged up. But Dan Campbell brings a fiery energy that I absolutely love from head coaches, from Dan Campbell. So I'll take the Lions to win here. This spread got flipped. We'll see how it does on Saturday and Sunday, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think the Lions gonna win here. Cowboys, I'll take the win. I think the defense. Some people are calling this a trap game, but I'm gonna give it to the Cowboys defense to slow down and shut down. I think the Jaguars. I just think that defense will overpower the Jaguars. So we'll take a look and see. I'm really questioning whether or not the Bears could actually +9 this, because Justin Fields may play keep away ball. He's a mobile quarterback. We're seeing a matchup between two very mobile quarterbacks, Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts. But I just think Jalen Hurts in that offense is way too explosive for a bottom 5 defense or a bottom 10 defense that the Bears have. So I'll take the Eagles to cover. Saints, Desmond Ritter's out there. Front 4 of the Saints are pretty good, so I'll take the Saints to win here. And like you said, Broncos defense, I think, is going to do numbers on the Cardinals offense with Colt McCoy. We've talked about the Raiders-Patriots game, having Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow, and Devontae Adams. It's too good for Bill Belichick right now. Too good for Bill Belichick. And the Bengals, 3.5-point favorites on the road to the Bucs. Bucs are playing horrible. Offense is near dead last in the league. They're absolutely abysmal. Running game 32nd. Passing is okay, but it's mostly garbage time. You have a 45-year-old completing 45 attempts. He's averaging 66% completion percentage, which is pretty good. But this offense is bad for the Bucs. I'll take the Bengals to win here. This one I'm nervous about. I mentioned this before, though. You have Derrick Henry. I think Ryan Tannehill might make some crucial mistakes. As long as the Chargers don't drop interceptions like they did against the Chiefs in their Thursday night football game, I think the Chargers might be able to pull out a win here. Justin Fields back to his heroics. Game-winning drive, I could see it. Maybe game-winning field goal. Chargers do get the win here. And I would say probably cover the 3-point spread. Taylor Heineke, I think there's some redemption going on. This spread is surprisingly high for what I thought the Giants-Commanders game would be. And I'm curious, I'm going to bring this up right now, of what the spread was in their first matchup. The opening Vegas line was Commanders -2. So Vegas believes more so in the Commanders than they did 2 weeks ago.
I think the Commanders are better than the Giants.
Well, they gave them a -2 2 weeks ago, and now they have a -4.5, which is something to say. I guess they took a look at last.
They have their big defensive guys.
Chase Young is could potentially come back in this game. Yes, so we'll take a look. I think Taylor Heineke does more magic, and I think basically solidifies the Commanders' playoff run as long as they stay relatively consistent. And I think the Packers will win by more than 7 here. I think Baker Mayfield will play okay against a decent defense, but I think just with the way the Rams defense have been playing, they were able to slow down and relatively stop the Raiders last week with Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, but I think Aaron Rodgers is better than Derek Carr, so I will take the...
Derek Carr.
Or, I'm sorry. Oh, no, yeah, Derek Carr, because last week the Rams played him. So I think the Packers do get the win here and cover the -7 spread. So it's going to be a busy week for the NFL season. That's it 15 games, 16 games? I think it's 15 games this week. It's week 15, so it is 16 games. So it's going to be a very, very busy week in the NFL. But I think it's time for my 15th consecutive Harvey Hot Hand. So let's get it down. Let's break it down right now. Let's begin with the first one, a blowout. Bengals win and cover their -3 spread on the road against Tom Brady. The first matchup between what people are saying, Joe Burrow is... a lot of aspects of his game is like Tom Brady, very calm in the pocket, very accurate, very clutch against some top-tier quarterbacks like a Patrick Mahomes. I think Bengals blow him out here. Bucs suffer their second consecutive blowout loss. Bengals win 31-14, cover the -3.5-point spread. The second one, Lions -1.5 against the Jets on the road. I think the Lions offense will do, like I've been saying, the Lions offense will outpace anything Zach Wilson might be able to do. And I think that this is going to be a relatively low-scoring game, but I just think The defense will slow down, not stop the Lions offense, because the Lions offense is one of the highest scoring in the league right now. Zach Wilson has an okay game. Like I said, 12 of 28, 140 yards, a touchdown or two, an interception or two. Not a great game, but a better game than the last time we saw Zach Wilson. Lions win 24-21, cover the -1.5 point spread. The third one, we have another blowout, but this one has to be a given since I have the Chiefs -14 at the Texans. The Texans are basically a CFL team or an XFL team or a USFL team or even a player-run or a fan-run football league. They're not good. They're 1-10-1 or maybe 1-11-1 or something like that. They did put up a relatively good fight. They're 1-11-1.
They're going to draft a quarterback.
They probably will. But they are, they put up a pretty formidable fight against the Cowboys, driving them all the way down. Dak Prescott needing a late game drive. But I think it's because the Cowboys played down to them. I don't think the Chiefs will. I think the Chiefs will do a lot of deep balls to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I think I could definitely see Travis Kelce, breaking Gronk's tight end touchdown record this year. He's very, very close to breaking it. I believe Gronk's record was 17 in one season. And right now, Travis Kelce has, he has 12. So he needs 5 more in 3 games. Maybe, but he's had 2 games, or I think at least 2 games with 3 or more touchdown receptions. So I'm gonna say Chiefs win here and cover the -14 spread. Chiefs 33-17, and I believe this is the last one. I'm picking the Panthers +3. Kenny Pickett being doubtful. The Panthers defense have seeming to have lit a new spark with Steve Wilks as their head coach instead of Matt Rule, who's
playing quarterback for the Panthers this week.
It's Sam Darnold.
He's still in there.
He's got the same starting
job. Good reason not to pick them.
I mean, he's put up a good fight recently. The past couple games he started, he's won. I mean, the past 2 starts, Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, they both won. I mean, Sam Darnold went out, he beat the Seahawks just like Brock Purdy just did. He went out and beat the Denver Broncos, put up 23 on that team. So I'm impressed with the way Sam Darnold has been playing recently. Kenny Pickett's out. Mitch Trubisky, as I'm going to call him now. He may be the starter. Otherwise, it's Mason Rudolph, who hasn't seen action in what seems like 2 years. But Panthers do get the win, get the upset at home, win 24-20, cover the +3 point spread. And that does wrap it up for us here at the Harvey Hour. Great episode of the Harvey Hour. A lot of football we need to talk about going on Tuesday. I'm gonna get that film if we highlight the Patriots-Raiders game. We probably will though. But for this episode of the Harvey Hour, my name is Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. Follow us on all social media. It's right here at Nathan T. Harvey 1 on Twitter, at the Harvey Hour on TikTok.
Enjoy the football this weekend.
We will see you Tuesday. I can't think of what Tuesday's day is. Tuesday is the 20th. December 20th.
Getting close to Christmas.
Absolutely. At 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. See you guys then.
Bye.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
Podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.